Alrighty, students, today is Tuesday the 24th, and we are going to be talking about two components or two categories of fitness. One is your health-related fitness, the other is your skill-related fitness. So health-related fitness is stuff that we need to do to maintain our health for the entirety of our life. Once one of these areas goes, a part of your life goes with it, and I'll explain that in other detail. Skill-related fitness is stuff you need to be good at sports. If you don't have one of these things, it's probably going to hurt your sports. Is it going to hurt you later in life? Probably not, and I'm going to explain that also. So let's start with health-related fitness. There's 5 components. 1, cardiorespiratory endurance. 2, muscular strength. 3, muscular endurance. 4 is flexibility, and 5 is a healthy body composition. Okay? Number 1, cardiorespiratory endurance. You have to be able to have a healthy heart, healthy lungs. That's what this is. Cardiorespiratory. Heart, lungs. Cardio meaning heart, respiratory meaning lungs. So this is your heart healthy and your lung healthy, and how long you're able to do activity. You're like, well, Mr. Durando, I don't have to run 50 miles every day. You're right. But don't you have to walk up and down steps throughout your day as a middle school student when we were in the middle school? Don't you have to be able to walk around the house and do some chores? Now, you take that for granted, but imagine that you were like 80 or 90. Wouldn't that become significantly harder? And the answer is yes. As you get older, these things become a lot harder. Things that were easy as a kid are not easy when you get older. If you want to live a long, healthy life, you need heart and lung health. Why? Because when you get older, you're still probably going to have to cook. You're still probably going to have to do some cleaning around the house. Now, are you going to be as quick and as fast as you are now? Probably not. But if you lose the ability to do it or like be able to sustain activity, that's going to hurt your health. So you want to be able to do it for a long period of time. Imagine walking up a flight of stairs. What if you had to take a break every 3 steps because you had to catch your breath? That's unhealthy, and that's going to affect how you live. You might not be able to live in a place with steps anymore. So when we talk about this, we're talking about things that can affect your life. So you want your heart and lungs to be healthy enough to be able to walk up a flight of steps, do a couple chores around the house as you get older. At this age, it's really important that you're able to do a little bit more than that. Because if you're not, then you're really unhealthy and we have to fix that. So how do we measure how healthy we are with this? Well, you might remember taking the PACER test in physical education. And it has 3 scores. Score 1, if you score below it, you're really unhealthy and you're actually going to have you're at risk for having heart disease as you get older. If you score above it, but below Mark 2, that means you're healthy, but you can get better. Depending on where you are between these 2 numbers, you're either at the low end or high end of healthy. And then if you score above it, you're super healthy. You have no risk of ever catching a heart disease usually, or your risk is so low that it's like way less than the person that's over here. So if you score way above the score, then you're good. There's nothing more that you can do to reduce your risk. Component 2, muscular strength. So we're not talking about lifting cars, bench pressing 400 pounds and squatting 600 pounds. What we're talking about when we're talking about muscular strength, the ability to lift the things that you're going to have to lift throughout the day. Whether that be a pot with some spaghetti in it, or like pulling something out of the oven. You need to have the basic level of strength to do that to live successfully. So, can you imagine as you get older and your muscles start to get weaker and deteriorate, how much harder that would be to cook for yourself if you can't lift a pot with water? That's going to affect your life. So remember, as we talk about these things, picture yourself getting older. You want to work on your muscular strength now so that when you get older, you have enough muscular strength to do those activities. Lifting clothes, carrying clothes up the steps, laundry. Depending on how strong you are, some of these things might have to go. And if you lose them, you lose an aspect of your life, which is why they're health-related fitness. You need these. So, with muscular strength, we have muscular endurance. What if you pick up the clothes, you can do it, but you can't walk more than 3 steps with it because you got to take a break and do it again. You're strong enough to do it, but you're not strong enough to keep going. That's going to affect your life, okay? And every time you lose one of these, every time they deteriorate, you lose a part of your life. Flexibility. Are you able to bend down and tie your shoe? Are you able to bend down and pull something out of the oven? Now, if you can't do that, that's going to affect part of your life. You might need help. This is why kind of nursing homes exist, because people lose these parts of their health and somebody else has to make up the difference. So I have great grandparents that are in their 90s and they live on their own. Grandma still cooks and she still picks up pots of pans and water and she's able to do all that. My grandfather's still able to move because he worked as it when he was younger, and although he's gotten worse, he's still able to do those things and he's able to live on his own without the help of a nursing home because he's maintained his health along with my grandmother. Now, once you fall below that, that's when you have to start having assistance. So there's a point where my grandparents eventually just needed a little bit of extra help because they've hit their 90s and we didn't feel comfortable with them staying by themselves. So they live with my aunt. Now, anything that they can't do, she has to do. But they were able to live all the way up until like 90, 92 with no help at all because they maintained this component. There are people out there that can't even lift a pot of water with spaghetti in it, and that's affecting how well they can live. That's why these are really important to get and to master and to maintain. The last one is a healthy body composition. So, we know that obesity is a problem in this country, and when we talk about obesity, technically, if you use the score sheet that most people are, Mr. Durando's overweight. Now, I'm not unhealthy, but that's what the score sheet says. So when we talk about healthy body composition, it's not about weight. It's about how does your body, like, for lack of a better term, look. So they measure how big your waist is around. If you carry a lot of excess fat around your stomach, that's very unhealthy. Now, you've seen people like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson who weigh like 260 pounds. Technically, they're obese by the United States standards. Now, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is not obese, but he's built differently. So when we talk about healthy body composition, how is your body built? I'm not talking about being super, super muscular. I'm talking about where is the fat on your body? Is it where it's supposed to be, or is it over your waist applying pressure onto your organs? Is it making the heart work harder because you have excess fat? So when we talk about healthy body composition, we're talking about being in a healthy body shape, not weight. Weight does not decide anything, as you like if you look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because that's about the most extreme example I can think of. He weighs like 260 pounds. He's close to 300 pounds, but he is not unhealthy because his body shape. So you need to consider those things, and we can go into more detail if you have questions about that. Email me. But that's health-related fitness. If one of these areas suffer, your health goes down. Your life expectancy, or how long you're able to live, goes down. The things that you're able to do in life goes down. Your freedom is limited when you start to hit these points as you get older. So that's health-related fitness. You need to master these to be able to live a healthy, long, independent life, okay? So now we're going to talk about skill-related fitness. These are the things that you need to be able to do well to perform well in sports and physical activities. Excuse me. Agility is the ability to, well, there's 6 components: agility, balance, coordination, reaction time, speed, and power. Okay? Number 1, agility, the ability to rapidly change directions. I want you to think of juking, or like, whatever it is, whatever sport you play, where you have to change directions quickly. Do you have to change directions quickly in life to be healthy? No. Unless you're going out and buying toilet paper right now, you don't really have to juke out a lot of people. I mean, Mr. Brand had to pick up some toilet paper and juke out a couple of people so he can get to the register. But no, I'm kidding. You don't have to be able to change directions really quickly to live a long, healthy life, okay? So that's agility. That's component number 1 of skill-related fitness. 2, balance. The ability to keep from falling when standing still or moving object. Most people have a good enough sense of balance where they do not fall over and it affects their life, okay? And we're talking balance to the point where can you balance on one foot, bend over, pick up this cone, bring it back while still standing on one foot. That's the kind of balance they're talking about, not basic balance that most people have, okay? You don't really need balance to live a long, healthy life, okay? It helps in old age as you hit that point, so this one's kind of an iffy one. You definitely want to be well balanced enough that you're not falling over at an old age, but most people have that basic level of balance. When you're thinking of balance for this, I want you to think of, is somebody pushing you as you're trying to fight resistance, maintain a level of that kind of balance. 3, coordination. You do not have to be coordinated to be healthy. You can be running with the same foot and the same arm, like this, or I could probably have to stand up. You can be running with the same leg and same arm and doing your walking in miles and still be healthy, okay? You do not really need coordination to be healthy. I mean, it look weird when you're running around the track with like this, but you don't really need to be coordinated to be healthy. It doesn't stop you from being healthy. Does it help you be really good at sports? Well, you better be coordinated enough to catch a football if you want to be good at football. Being able to bring your hands together. Catch like this because your arms are crossed, well, you're not going to be very good at sports, but you can be healthy. 4, reaction time. Reaction time is basically how quickly you react to something. So if I were to drop this, how quickly, if somebody was to hold this and then they were to drop it, how quickly could I grab it? How quickly could you react? You do not need reaction time to be healthy. The only time you would probably need really, really good reaction time is when you're driving, because that's kind of important. You want to be able to react to the person in front of you. But other than that, you do not need reaction time to live a long, healthy life. It helps in sports, because if somebody says, go in football, and you're still sitting down, they're going to push you over before you're able to react. So you need it for sports, you don't need it to be healthy, okay? Speed. How fast you are, how quickly you're able to move from one point to the other. I do not need to run 100 meters in under 10 seconds and be Usain Bolt to be healthy. I can't do that. I would like to be able to do that. I think my career path would have been a little different, but you do not need to be able to run under 100 meters in under 10 seconds to be healthy. As long as you get out and run, you will be healthy and you can live a long, fulfilling life. Doesn't matter if you run 100 meters in under 10 seconds or in 20 seconds. If you're running and being healthy, you're both going to have a long, fulfilling life. 6, power. The ability to combine how fast you can do something and how strong it is. Let's go back to the pot and pan example of lifting up spaghetti and like cooking. You need to be strong enough to lift it and move it. Does my great-grandmother need to be strong enough to lift that pot of spaghetti and throw it over and serve everybody very quickly? No. It doesn't affect how well you can live and how healthy you are. But if you're powerful, if you're able to pick something up and move it very quickly, that's really good in a sport. Imagine picking somebody up in football and taking them somewhere. When you're blocking them, you would want to be able to do that. You need power for that. You do not need power to pick up a pot of spaghetti and move it over somewhere very quickly. Okay? You don't really need that. So these 6 components are things that make you good at sports, but you don't need to be healthy. You can get healthy without being good at any of these other 6. So some of you might be like, well, I'm not good at sports, so I'm not ever going to get healthy. Well, no. You can go out, you can walk, you can do the very basics. All right? So, I want you for homework tonight to go ahead and tell me, how are you going to improve each component of health-related fitness? So give me examples of how you would improve one of the 5 components of health-related fitness. Put it in a Google Doc, email it to me, and I'll put it in the assignment folder. That's your homework for tonight. I'll give you an example. How would you improve cardiorespiratory endurance? Well, I'm going to go swim a mile. Isn't that going to work out your heart and lungs? If you haven't swam, it's very hard. So yes, that's going to work out your heart and lungs. Very good. How would you improve flexibility? I don't know. Write down some stretches that you would do. It's a very easy assignment. Just give me an example for each one of how you would improve those, except for healthy body composition. Don't do that one. Just do the first 4: cardiorespiratory endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, and flexibility. How are you going to improve each one of those? What kind of activities are you going to do to improve those? And that concludes today's lessons. If you have any questions, email me. This took about 8 times to film to get it right.